guys, technically it's day like 25 of having the violin, but I've been spending a lot of my time working on reading music, so that's both treble clef and bass clef, and then when you put them together it's a grand clef, which exploded my mind initially, but now I've gotten to where I'm pretty good with it. I don't get this like monumental head pressure when I even just look at the thing, so that's good. But what I found is at a certain point you're doing like maybe 3 to 4 octaves, and in the app you have to slide the keyboard and, you know, hit the right notes, make sure you're in the same octave that you need to be. As a recap, when you have the piano keyboard, you start low. This is C, this is also C, this is C4, this is middle C. So you have to understand like what octave, like high or low that you're in, or else you will get it wrong. So that takes time too, and I found that I was getting like little hesitations, or I would mix up notes a little bit. Like B and D often have like a line above or below in a certain way that it can trick your brain a bit. So I did grand clef up till the point where I couldn't get really good scores on it, and then I was like, okay, let me take a break. Like my brain's adjusting and forming new pathways for grand clef, and now let me pull them back apart, really drill the notes separately, and then when I put it back together, I'm hoping like that will increase my speed. So I pulled the violin out. I've been very sparing on what I'm doing with the violin because I was getting tension in my hand just by turning the hand, like you're rotating the wrist like this, and I was getting some tension in here, and also with holding the bow. My bow holds a lot better now, but with holding the bow, you can kind of get tension in there. So one of the things I worked on is I was putting my pinky straight, which was, it kind of stabilizes it, but what this prevents you from doing is later when you want to be able to do more dynamic things, you can't do this kind of, it's like a leaping spider or something, but you can't do that if your pinky's stiff. It's like, it doesn't work. And likewise, your thumb, let me get a good angle on this. Your thumb is intended to be curved, almost like you're doing an OK symbol. But when you're new and you're trying to do this, sometimes your thumb will lock like this. So a locking finger like this, or your thumb, it's no good. So you really have to train yourself to keep that curved and keep this perched on top and curved. And then these fingers, right, these two sort of perch on top of the frog. You start out like if your fingers are straight and you're kind of like leaning them like this. So practicing my bow hold was a really substantial thing, and getting this pinky to stop collapsing or just going, ah, because it literally was having problems just existing in a curved state. It's good when you have trouble to just go back to the basics. So I practiced my bow hold not every single day, but most days, just even for a couple minutes, and then it starts building up the muscles. And one of the things I learned was to do the windshield wipers like this, and that really helps start building your muscle strength. And as you're doing this, just make sure that you have a round thumb and a round pinky. So yeah, I'm on day 25 of violin, but I'm not 25 days into actually playing it. But something cool is I'm learning more the rotation. Like I'm watching enough videos where I can see what's an acceptable rotation of the hand, and what you'll find is, you know, these spots on the E string are easier to hit because they're further towards your hand. But then once you get closer and closer to the other side, it starts getting difficult. So you're actually able to rotate your elbow inwards to get those, but you also have to make sure that your wrist stays straight and many other things. So it's difficult, and like my pinky flattens out here for the reach, and until I have an instructor, or maybe a good instructor who isn't dismissing that bad form can give you pain and injury. Like my one lesson I went to, she's like, oh, you're overthinking it, just play. And I know better, so I'm not listening to her. I didn't go back to her. So I figured out Twinkle Twinkle Little Star just by doing some pizzicato, like plucking. And I know it's in one of my books, but the Suzuki book is really, I'm not really a fan of it so far. But anyway, I know it's one of the things in the repertoire, so I just started messing around with the pizzicato and I figured it out by ear. So I'm going to play that. I haven't done the next section yet, but I was happy with it. So, yep, that's my progress for now, and I'm gonna do some more time. Another fun fact is, I got this this practice mute, and it just fits over the bridge. Yeah, it doesn't fit very far down on it, but it mutes the sound really well, and I don't have to worry so much about playing with my neighbors having issues or whatever. So yeah, this little guy's really good. Got it on Amazon, and I tried some other different ones. Like I got a small ebony mute. It's actually made of wood, and it didn't fit on the bridge well. So what I had to do is take sandpaper and fold it and stick it in there to, let me see it, yeah, stick it in there to sort of open it up, and it works, but it's not as good as this one is. So I have this, I guess, as a backup, but this one is really much better.